Tern GSD pulley wheel. Let's go.
Alright, so first we're just going to start by unlatching the storm box from the bottom. Pretty easy. It's just two Velcro straps holding down the bottom end. So we just undo them, pull them through the loop, and get out the way so we have access to the bolt for the rear wheel. Cool, so grab your 6mm, hit that lefty loosey real quick, right, to get this axle out. So a little note here, if you have the wide deck stands on, you do have to bend them down just a little bit to get the axle out sometimes. So that's what you see me doing right there. Boom, axle comes out. Easy peasy. Alright, so boom. What you do, you throw the kickstand up, you push on the bottom side of the derailleur, right, and that'll help you get the wheel out. Just pull it straight out, you're good to go. Every once in a while, these things get stuck, but I'll show you in the end how to get these things back in and out. Alright, so right here I'm just pointing out the bolts that you're going to be removing. So you're going to need two 5mm Allen keys for this part, right? One goes on the outside bolt, one goes on the inside bolt. Once again, left it loose and you're good to go, right? So you're just going to twist these bad boys off and you're just going to remove all the junk that's under there. You're going to end up pulling out a shoulder nut, a chain guide, and the pulley wheel itself. You may have a couple additional washers coming out of it too, but realistically, just pull out everything. For this guy specifically, his pulley wheel was literally cooked. So, yeah, so we're just gonna get all that stuff up out of there to get in this new plastic pulley wheel that will be on all the newer Terns coming out. Well, at least after they, sell out this last shipment. Cool, just snatch this bolt out. Sometimes you have to push it from the inside to actually get it all the way out. That's it, we're good to go. So here's the new bolt, right? In these kits, it comes with two bolts. For the Tern GSD, you do want the longer bolt because that'll be the only one that'll fit both the nuts that come with it. A thing to note also is that it may look like the bolt is gonna touch the wheel, but it won't. There's a good amount of clearance there, so you don't even have to worry about it. Real quick, if you think that the bolt looks longer here than it did in my hand, it's bike shop magic, just don't worry about it, okay? Thanks. So first you put on the two black spacers, then you're going to put the pulley wheel around the chain and the chain guide, and then you're going to slip that onto the bolt also. These things are a little bit tight, so you're going to see me kind of struggle with it a little bit because we do repairs in real life here. Little note here, that chain guide is not threaded. It just makes it easier to screw it through than it does try to force it through by pushing. So next up, you're gonna see me put on the M6 washer and then a regular M6 nut that doesn't have the lock on the end. So these two, you want to get it down as tight as possible because you don't actually want the chain guard to move after. So you definitely want to have that bolt locked down as tight as you can get it, as you'll see here. Also a thing to note in this part right here, so I do use my middle finger to hold the chain guide at the position that I feel like it should be in. Sometimes it does take a little bit of adjustment, but I usually have it somewhere close to parallel to the other bar behind my finger. I just have to, play with it a little bit just to make sure it doesn't jostle the chain in any weird ways. But besides that, that position is pretty good. So yeah, just use one of your fingers just to hold it in place as you tighten it down. Then I just check the chain a little bit to make sure that it's moving freely and not bound up behind the chain guard. Cool, now we got our split washer again, and then our locking nut at the end there. So for right here, I'm going to show you guys, you can use a regular 10mm spanner, right? But if you have a socket, just use a socket. It's way faster, more convenient, because you know, time is money. All right, here we're going to be putting back on the rear wheel. So you lift up the chain, you throw it over the cogs, then you pull the bottom of the cage up to help the wheel slip in. Just watch your fingers, because there have been many a pinched finger doing this. Also, a thing to note is that if the bottom of the chain is on the gears, it'll stop the wheel from going all the way in. All right, cool. So what we're gonna do right here, we're gonna take the axle, fling it right back in the frame, and lock it down with our 6mm, right? On the axle itself, it'll tell you that it's 10 Newton meters. So that's the torque spread that you could go with if you're curious. So for some reason, the chain ended up being long when I reinstalled everything. So I ended up taking out one link. So that's what you're gonna see here. So I used the chain holder just to keep the chain in place while I work on the links without having to worry about the chain snapping off. It is a bit obscured here because I'm left-handed and I only noticed after I started to edit. But what I'm gonna be doing is using a quick link opener / closer to open up the quick links, then a regular chain tool to remove a link, and then putting everything back together. In the future, there will be more in-depth tutorials about how to do these kinds of things, so don't worry about it. There'll be a nice, really clear video for that. At the end here, you just see me expecting the chain a little bit, but that's what it should look like. A little gap between the bottom of the chain and the upper pulley. So right here, we're gonna employ a little space-time magic. Not because we forgot to record this part or anything, but more because it's just convenient to use space-time magic. So we're gonna reverse time and put the straps back on that way. I think everybody should learn this technique. I love it myself. After all is said and done, we go and we start to test the pulley wheel just to make sure it's functioning okay and it's not catching the chain or anything. Also, a thing to note here is that sometimes that little metal part of the frame does bend and needs to be straightened. We'll go over that in a separate video on our next installation. Cool. Thanks, guys. See you soon. So this is a little bonus clip for you guys. So I realized the place where this part is a little obscure and hard to see. So I kind of just put it together in hand so you can see what it should look like from the bottom end. So there you go.